Okay, so in this video, we're going to learn how to construct lines that are parallel. So remember, using the parallel postulate, we know that if we have this line, line 1, that there is an infinitely number of lines that would be parallel to it. But if we want to go through point B, there's only going to be one line that will go through point B and be parallel to line 1. This construction requires us to understand the converse of the corresponding angle theorem, which states that if you have corresponding angles that are congruent, then you know your lines are parallel. Now, I didn't draw that very well, but just sketching that for you to understand. So that's what we're going to use here. We're going to create corresponding angles that are congruent, and by doing so, make two lines that are parallel. And so this uses the constructions that we learned up here about copying an angle. Because what we're going to do is we're going to copy this angle that has A as a vertex up here at B, and in doing so create those corresponding angles that are congruent, which makes the lines parallel. So the same three arcs are needed on this construction as was needed on numbers 1 and 2. So we're going to begin with the point of our compass, which remember is that gold hole on point A. We're going to use a setting here. I'm going to use my second hole on the top setting here to draw an arc that goes through both sides of angle A. So I'm going to label this point, since we already have a B, as C, and this point of intersection up here as point D. Now, it would have been fine if that had gone through point B, but it's not necessary, and sometimes that just kind of confuses students when we do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same setting, remember, so you have to remember which hole you used, but I'm going to come up here on B and put my hole setting on B. So I'm going to use the second setting, remember on the top here. I'm going to start down here below. Remember, I'm trying to create this parallel line, so I want to be below where I know that line's going to be. And I'm going to draw an arc that goes all the way up through that side. Now notice I didn't go through this side of the angle A here. It doesn't go all the way through, and I need that point. But remember, that arrow means it goes on forever, so I can use the flat edge of my compass to simply extend that line out so I can see that point of intersection, which is what I'm going to need here. So I just extend that line out. So I'm going to, well, I don't know if you heard that, but I just got told dinner's ready. So this point of intersection right here, I'm going to label that as E. And so now, remember, to get the third arc, we're going to come down here and measure from C to D. So I'm going to put the point of my compass on C and find the hole setting that will be on B here. And so it looks like to me it's the third hole, 1, 2, 3 of my top setting there. So again, there's hole on C, and here's the hole on D. So I'm going to use that third hole, but you have to be careful here because you're going to have to turn your compass around and put it on point E. That's the point that we want to use for this last arc. So remember, it's the third hole, and I'm going to make an arc that goes through the one that I already had right here. So in doing so, that creates a point that I'm going to label as F. And so those are the same three arcs we did on number 1 and 2. And now when I connect B through F, I have created my line that is parallel to the given line that goes through point B. So there is the construction of parallel lines, and it uses corresponding angles that are congruent. So since I copied this angle here, those angles are congruent, and if corresponding angles are congruent, then these lines have to be parallel.